She said, roar H3, so it's true love at first sight. Throw out my candy bracelets, now I'm headed to class. I'm still 20%, so get your head out your ass. I'm the antonym of the internet, still cleaning up the viruses that you had left. I think I'm falling in love again. Don't stop until you hear the I'm the antonym of the internet, been fighting on new grounds over if my love is valid. Fuck the cynicism, let the colors fly. Don't care, you think it's cringe because it's not your life. She said, do you like waffles? I said, hell yeah. Been watching Equals 3 until 2 a.m. I ain't got no iPhone, but I got a DS with a keychain, a pinky. Her cupcakes are the best. I've been failing my classes cause I don't give a damn. They say the world is my oyster, but the free market's a scam. Everything's been changing since last generation was born, and they won't try to take and change it. A two-edged sword. I'm the antonym of the internet, still cleaning up the viruses that you had left. I think I'm falling in love again. Don't stop until you I'm the antonym of the internet, been fighting on new grounds over if my love is valid. Fuck the cynicism, let the colors fly. Don't care, you think it's cringe because it's not your life. It's never too late to fall in love with the world. Your past is not today, so set your stride with a twirl. Yeah, we've all made mistakes before, that's the fact of life. But once you restate your heart, you'll be just fine. Now it's your life, you say it's all mine, all mine. Revel in your friends and hobbies, let your heart speak. Wanna drift to say some shit, just block that internet freak. I'm the antonym of the internet, still cleaning up the viruses that you had left. I think I'm falling in love again. Don't stop until you I'm the antonym of the internet, been fighting on new grounds over if my love is valid. Fuck the cynicism, let the colors fly. Don't care, you think it's cringe because it's not your life.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start up. Do. And we are returned with Mouse PI for Hire, where everything is constantly moving, and the animation is silky smooth. Ah, yes. How wonderful. Well, let's go ahead and head on some of the side missions. So last time we were doing what? God, it's been a week. See, I can remember Ninja Gaiden, but I'm not remembering... Okay, wait, here. It's going to point me to the new open location. There are also a few other areas in the map that I've been meaning to go check out as well. Probably do some of those. Hello, Code and Assembly! Good to see you, my dear friend. How are you doing this fine evening? I'm doing mostly well. I had a bit of a hiccup earlier today, which made me want to cry and bang my head on the table. Which requires, I think, a bit of explanation. So I guess I should start with that.
Was crawling
I was working on the Mummy thumbnail.
Worse than a campaign promise.
Oh,
All the
oh, joy. 1 second. Let me kill these guys first. We can do some more exploring.
Shrews.
You know, I do love the shotgun in most games. Oh, wow. I really want ammo. I really should have bought some for this level. Damn. Oh, wait. I got Tommy gun. I don't need anything. But, just relaxing. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So I was working on the Mummy thumbnail earlier today, and Alright, so Procreate is a little weird as a program, it usually is just auto-saving constantly. So, like, there's not, like, a need to, like, click the Save As button. Whenever you exit out, it will save. However, the Undo button resets whenever you exit out of the program. And because the autosave is a thing, if you do something stupid and the program accidentally closes, well, you can lose a lot of progress. And I accidentally deleted my main coloring and effect layer, which I kind of been working on. And so now I'm back to just the line art again. Because long story short, I had, like, deleted it because I thought I had a copy of it in a different layer. And it wasn't there. And I did this, like, later on, or late, you know, after a while, I had been, like, you know, no, it wasn't done, but I was, like, I was pretty close. I had gotten most of, like, the shading done, not the lighting, but the shading. And I had done the coloring all done. And I was like, all right, cool, we're good. And it was just the main dragon. He was just, like, holding his hand up, going like, actually, I don't think this is a mummy movie. But that's now undone, so I'm gonna need to try and finish that. I'm gonna try and do it tonight after stream. Ho ho ho, no. Yeah. So I am gonna try and finish that after stream tonight. I also ran into another issue, which was I think it's because it's been a while since I've done a full video with the other thing, because I used a few scenes of the old VTuber, but I switched the background color for the alpha, and apparently there was, like, a lot of, like, chromatic aberration, some, like, transparency issues I didn't notice, so I had to redo that bit. But that's fine, it's not like a huge issue. I've mostly managed to make that work.
Than a midnight raid on a dairy truck.
But I had to redo some of the facial expressions for the PNG tuber real quick. The main annoyance with that was just, like, going back into there. It only showed up on the fucking export though, which I hate that. I hate when there are, like, minor artifacts and shit that only show up when you export a file. Like, this isn't even a DaVinci Resolve thing. I've had issues with this with, like, you know, Cyberlink. I've had issues with this with basically every editing program I've used. Even, like, the few times I used, like, the VideoPad editing program. That was the one I bought, like, a permanent license for. Or even, let's see, what was another one? Or, like, Movie Maker back in the day when I used to use that. I would have issues that would just show up when you export. And I've never, I get that they happen partially because of, like, the video encoding and stuff. You know, sometimes it just doesn't calculate it. But it's always annoying when you, like, see something in the preview, right? And you're watching the preview over and over again, and then you export it, and only then does, like, an element you've used, like, 14 times be like, yeah, actually, this is just not correct. And again, this is partially my fault. I need to be using proxy media. Because proxy media would make this, like, so much easier. With this regular stuff, I have to, like, actually, like, you know, go in, cut the same moments again, which is always a little off because the way that I record it, I kind of have, like, the output playing into the input for OBS, and I record the screen capture at the same time so I can get the audio and visuals to sync up automatically. It's a good way to do it because it also gives me this nice visualization of, like, where on the audio timeline it is, which is good. I think that's good.
These cheese
the overall
in on the shrew racket.
Cheese leggers? Oh god, so one of the things that all the alcohol and cigarettes are just all cheese. Like, when he puts a cigarette in his mouth, that's actually just a cheese stick. But it is something I find annoying about some editing programs. I don't think there's much you can do about it, though, because I know that the artifacting is not, like, the thing's actively hiding stuff from you, right? It's just, there is an issue that it didn't account for. But with, like, the video encoding on one of the files, or with the way it encodes stuff, and I get the program can't always account for stuff like that, and it does happen very rarely. Most of the time, it's even fixed by just exporting it a second time, which I've always found weird. Like, the Castlevania, god, the Castlevania review just, like, haunts my dreams at night. I don't know why, because it's not one of my better reviews, or even one of my worst reviews, but I guess it's the idea that it was up for so long with such obvious, like, artifacting and audio issues, and the fact that when I re-exported it, it just, like, worked. Like, I didn't even change anything for that one Castlevania one that I had to re-upload. Because it got decent. I think that's part of the problem, too. It got decent views. I think it got, like, 100 views, something like that, in, like, the first few hours. And it's why I privated it instead of taking it down, because for some reason people watched it. I should have just deleted it, honestly, but it just, like, felt so frustrating. Because it was clearly a review people were going to click on. At least to some degree, and it just didn't because, you know... I tell you the definition of insanity. Exactly, it feels insane! There it is, right there, yeah, it feels insane. When you can do the same thing twice and have it get a different result, that feels like a bit of madness. It feels like a bit of actual madness. Oh. But yeah. The other thing I've been thinking of is oh god, it's so frustrating because I don't want to do a full video for the Omens, the Strixhaven book. Not because I don't have enough to talk about, I actually think I have a decent amount to talk about with the setting and the characters. It's just I don't want to have like 2 full book reviews because I know the book review is going to take forever if I do like a full style book review, so I was doing a short. But now it's like I added like an extra line at one point, and now that when I'm editing it, it's at like it's like 3.5 minutes, which is a little bit over the maximum, and I'm gonna have to figure out what part I'm gonna cut. I might cut the thing about Liliana. I think I made a brief comment about her, and I think that's the part I'm gonna cut. It was this brief comment about, hey, Lily looks like she's doing well. It was like 15 seconds, and then I can like kind of cut down on one other part by like removing a bit of repeated dialogue, a bit of like repetition in there, because it's short. And I think that should do it though. Still at the audio level right now, but it's just in that particular spot. But yeah. The other thing though is I'm wondering if I should try and use the oh boy. Gun him down, gun him down. Oh jeez, oh jeez. Whoa. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Oh, got it. Oh, wow. Need some help cutting. I think I should be good. If I'm still having problems after I get the other review out, I will send you the audio. If I still have problems cutting something, I might send it to you. But I think I know what I'm gonna cut. Oh, my first death. I think I know what I'm gonna cut right now. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for me. I'm gonna try and do it. I might send it to you though once I have the audio like cut down to 3 minutes. I might send it to you once I have the audio cut down to 3 minutes. Load last save. But I'm hoping to have all that ready at least by Sunday. I would say I was gonna try and get it out like on Friday, but if I can't finish it to the other review tonight, then I'm not gonna really have a lot of time on Friday and Saturday. I did end up taking work off, but I have a feeling that there's going to be family stuff going on because I have that wedding for my cousin. So that's just going to be, you know, the nature of the beast there. So I will probably have to do it on Sunday, which is really annoying because now I'm getting really close to the 2-month mark, and I wanted this to be done in 1 month. But if I get a short done shortly after, and then I immediately start working on Occultist, I will feel better about it, I think. Might be a good idea to write a script for the short. I did have a script for it. Well, I had a collection of notes for it that were kind of organized, and I kind of, like, did multiple takes on how I'm saying things. Maybe trying to get, like, you might be right, trying to get it down formalized, like a proper script, instead of, like, notes with general outline of what I want to say, and then trying to see how it plays. I recorded it, like several different lines for each thing, and then I kind of just saw which ones I wanted. We're gonna... Oh, damn it. We were not close enough. Not close enough there. Alright. But yeah, I've also started filtering through my Occultist playthroughs. Well, I say filtering. I've mostly been like running them through Handbrake to re-encode them. Because it's this weird thing with OBS stuff. I don't know why, but if I don't re-encode it, the audio just fucks up for DaVinci. And not fucks up. Fucks up is not the right word. It just disappears. So... What happens with DaVinci with OBS stuff, and I really do need to look through the encoding settings on that, is that if I take a DaVinci, something I recorded in DaVinci Resolve, and put it directly into, not recorded in DaVinci Resolve, I take something I recorded direct in OBS, and put the video file it creates directly into DaVinci, then for some reason, when I look through it on the timeline, although the video file is there, the audio, like, track will not appear. It's not that the audio is just, like, endless. Easier. I think needless repetition is easier to remove in a script. Yeah, it is. You notice, you are right. You notice things. I didn't think I needed it for the short, but you are right in that it helps. I thought that because both these were shorter, I'd be able to get away with, like, not having as much of a formalized script. Even if, you know, formalized scripts do tend to make some of my better videos. But, yeah, again, formalizing as a script will definitely help me get my eyes in there. And I already have, like, a big list of notes for it, too. Or not, like, a super long list of notes, because I'm doing, like, minor points. But, like, I got my main notes for my opinions, you know, my opinions on, like, the overall point of it and everything. I actually did have one extra thing over the, like, what the Mummy movie not being a Mummy movie. That was the main two things I talked about with Mummy was it not really being a Mummy movie, but also, like, admitting that Mummy movies aren't really, it's a little hard to define Mummy movies now, because the Mummy, like, subgenre as a monster, at least, was always kind of defined by the Egyptology craze. And I talk a bit about, like, how it's gone through, like, a few rewrites over time, so, like, what even, you know, what it's even supposed to be at this point. It is probably the movie monster that has, like, the most confused identity these days. Aside from that, I mostly talked about how it's just kind of okay aside in the ending a bit. I was a bit more vague, though. I think I've gotten better at... one of the things I think I did better with this movie was not feeling the need to get so bogged down on describing everything. I was a lot better with, like, being vague. I did talk about, like, what the movie... what the thing is. I'm not going to explain on that, because that's in the spoiler section. I think it's a bit of a spoiler. But I did kind of talk about it pretty vaguely in the Mummy review, I think. So that I think I've done better on. Like, usually I'd get all in the weeds of, oh, it's all this stuff. Make it a wad mummy there. Make it a wad mummy. See, that's not really a monster though. Like, I know the mummies are, like, kind of classified as, like, a night folk, but look, let's be real. They're very much day people to begin with, and they are literally just humans. Like, they are just humans who have been made immortal. That is their whole gimmick. Ugh. You know, if the Mummy books weren't just, like, so ancient by WoD standards, it's a shame, too, because they have the whole reborn Mummy, which seems like it was very much in line with WoD's whole, like, 5th edition thing, where they were trying to make the mummies more down-to-earth and more based on, like, regular day-to-day people. Right? Like, because, from what I understand, the Mummy books were from, the last one at least, was either from 2nd edition of World of Darkness or revised. It was not from, like, the 20th edition. So it was before their big push to make everything way more, what's the word, grounded, or at least lower scale without, you know, extra dimensional demons and mega powerful multiverses. Like, discuss Vibe, the plot that is watching what the movie for. Yeah, I did discuss that. I discussed, like, hey, this is the kind of, like, horror this is really going for. This is the kind of feeling it's going to make you evoke. That was actually something I discussed in the Mummy review. Because I don't have a lot to say about the Mummy plot. I don't think there's a ton to say on it, aside from, like, the weird extra scene they added to the ending, which I did talk about briefly. And, like, the idea of how it's maybe not quite a Mummy movie. So I ended up talking about, like, the type of horror it's going for. You know, what kind of feelings. Are you guys interested in this kind of feeling or this kind of horror? This is the kind of, like, thing it's going for. Here, you know, these are some example scenes. If you're okay with that kind of stuff, or if you actively want to seek that kind of stuff out, that's the kind of reason you should see the movie. I think I think I did a better job with this one about not getting so bogged down in the details, which I do like doing, but I really only want to do that on movies when I'm, like, really into it, you know? It's also, when it comes to a horror movie in particular, it can be a little hard to do that stuff without kind of spoiling the game. Like, if they know exactly what's coming before it comes, maybe they won't be as interested in it. Which is why I did try and be at least a little vague on the type of horror, like the exact way the scenes play out. But I did give some, like, vague examples. I think it's going to turn out to be a pretty decent review. It's definitely one of my newer reviews, that's for sure. Oh, look, I have to use my flashlight. You know, The darkness is actually kind of cool. What the? I was about to say the darkness is kind of cool. I think there's like a box right here. So like when I'm up against the wall, it kind of gets caught inside the mesh. So the light is like partially inside this mesh and not like broadcasting across the whole area. It's weird though. What was that? Oh well. Alright, so we've got the flashlight. I do like the idea that like they might have horror sequences like this, or maybe like supernatural things. Read the leaflet. There's that fit from Mage, Spike D's newest health product made him immortal. Word has the coroner's facepalm can still be heard. Oh my god. Wait. Newest health product would make him immortal. He downed a dose of citrusine. Styrichnine? Is styrichnine a real thing? To test this theory, word has the coroner's... I have a weird feeling that's probably like a reference to something that's specifically toxic to mice. Or something. Also, yeah. Fucking cheese bootlegger. Wait, okay. This is the question I have. Why the fuck how the fuck is cheese illegal? Like, these are cheese bootleggers, okay? So, like, there's a bar. We have a friend who's literally a bartender. It's not even like a speakeasy where it's meant to like be, you know, a fake bar, a fake nightclub that has like a secret under the counter bar. It's literally just a normal... Oh, you missed it? Missed what? Wait, what did you miss? Was it the lighting? Oh, okay, let me pull it up again. Let's see here. It's STRYCH. God. Let's see. Where's my newest one? Oh, here it is. STRYCHNINE. Strychnine? I mean, maybe it's strychnine, because it's kind of like, it doesn't have the 9 as a number, or the dash, it has it as a full word at the end of something that's like 1 letter off, or 2 letters off, because you replace the I and the H with a K, and, you know, Y and an H with a I and a K, so maybe it is strychnine? Maybe it is supposed to be a reference to strychnine? It seems like a similar enough word. Interesting. I'm still a little confused as to why the hell we're going after cheese bootleggers, or why cheese bootleggers are even, like, a thing in this world. Because I get the idea this is supposed to be, like, Prohibition-era America. Strychnine is a highly toxic, colorless, bitter, crystal alkaloid used in pesticides. Wait, he ate rat poison and thought it would make him immortal? That's the funniest shit I've ever heard. Oh, man. That is hilarious. The man ate rat poison. Oh. Beautiful. Fantastic. I love it. Oh, it's fantastic. Like, I actually... No notes. That's just like... That's just an excellent job. Writers just... It's not good for people either, I imagine. Okay, so it's literally just like a make fun of scammers or like weird herbal medicine thing. That's hilarious. Hello. Get blown. And get killed. Alright. But yeah, so that's basically been that. What else? Oh, the Backrooms movie is going to be coming out soon. I'm excited about that. Oof. Hurt. I'm actually kind of interested to see where they go with it. Mostly because I'm not really sure what the threat is in the movie. While it is historically no longer used as medicinally, it was used historically in small doses. Oh, so that makes the joke a bit more nuanced, right? Because it was like, it's something that is healthy for humans, or at least was not healthy for humans. I'm gonna correct that. I do not know anything. I am dumb. Do not trust me for biology facts. Anyone watching this, but so it was used as like a quote unquote medicine, at one point for humans, but is super toxic to rats. That's kind of interesting. So it's a bit more nuanced. It's a bit more nuanced than just being, haha, he ate rat poison. Or haha, rat poison joke. It's a bit more than that, in the sense that it was historically used as a drug for people. Even if it is not good for us, actually. So it still fits into the whole don't do scam drugs from like from weirdos who tell you that herbal remedy can make you immortal. It's not going to make you immortal. Okay, so it's a nuanced joke. I like it. See, explaining the joke doesn't always make it less funny. I think it's actually more funny when you explain that. It can start as early as 15 minutes after exposure and last 12 to 24 hours. And I imagine to rats, the effects are much more intense because of the smaller body size, right? So that would explain why he dropped dead basically immediately after ingesting it, because the kind of poison that on a rat would just instantly kill you. I love how the coroners were just like, you dumbass. Like the coroners were just like, why the hell would anyone do this? Oh, man. No, I think this game is generally pretty clever. Although, again, I'm still unsure what the deal with the cheese bootleggers are. Because, while that joke actually has, like, a bit of nuance to it, the cheese bootleggers just feel weird in a setting that's clearly not actually in a prohibition for cheese. Or maybe, like, certain types of cheeses are banned. I don't know, it still feels a bit weird. This is a game that only has cheese puns. I think it is that simple. But we can choose for it to mean more. That is fair. That is fair. This game does only have cheese puns. It might actually just be at surface level, and any other more complicated meanings could just be Mouseberg. Oh god, I kind of want to read these. I will say this game actually has been pretty cool. So I have been looking into doing that recipe. I got some of the stuff. I just need the cheese, and I've been trying to find Tvorog cheese, and it is a real thing. But I'm just unsure where to get. I might go by Whole Foods and see if I can grab some, because I think it'd be cool to like at least like show some pictures, you know, of making the recipe from Mouse PI. Even as you make your own dough, which I am going to try, believe it or not.
Like walking around with no tickets. And in those filthy briny
The ticket collector.
Sure. Wait,
Briny?
briny.
Like they took a swim in pickle juice or salt water.
Weird.
Must be a part of that.
If bootleggers are peddling Kazu Marza, the cheese that's sold in the black market, is that the one that's like full of maggots? Or because I know there are some cheeses that are illegal to sell in the U.S. because they're like have like larvae in them.
Their racket further down the canals. Lot of movement for a section that's supposed to be shut down. Oh.
Yeah, it's the one with live maggots in it. Yeah.
Got a nasty snap.
That could be it actually, because that one's still illegal in America.
See? You wouldn't happen to have a ticket
Worm
on
cheese,
you?
yes. Yeah, I've never been interested. I've heard it's a delicacy, and I'm always like, I'm sorry, eating live maggots is not. I don't care if it's technically edible. I'm just not interested in that shit. Live maggots are not appealing to me. I am interested in trying the Tvorog cheese. It is, as you might imagine from the name, it is Russian. Here's a Russian cheese. Ow, that hurt. Oof. Gotcha. Also, I love the music in this game. You know, I've really been going on a bit of a nostalgia kick with music lately. Between this and the Maltese Falcon. I don't know, something about like 20s swing or noir music is just like so good. You can kill them before you eat if you want. I'm still just not interested in eating something that had been full of maggots. It's not even that I don't think it's like healthy, it's that it doesn't seem appetizing to me, you know? Oh man, sliding around with the shotgun really does. This game does have like a very Doom energy to me, I will say. Alright, got him. This is very modern Doom. It reminds me of like Doom or Doom Eternal. Got you with the fisticuffs. Haha. It's like retro Doom. If Doom went to the mouse universe. Oh, they're like... Oh, there are anvil objects. I really need to use those. Okay, I need to be using more, like, environmental kill stuff. That's gonna be so much fun. But yeah, the maggots just don't seem that appetizing. Dead maggots are only marginally better than live maggots. Still a no-go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, I guess that's technically better, but, like, that doesn't mean I want to eat it. And, like, no shame to people who want to eat it. Like, you can be, like, very adventurous. I mean, I've had a candied bug before. I can't judge anyone. I'm not allowed to. I mean, I could, but I'd be a massive hypocrite if I judged anybody for that. I've eaten a candy bug exactly one time. It wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna ever do it again, but it wasn't that bad. I'll stick with normal candy though. I do understand why the US banned it though. I think I do understand why the US banned it, because it is a bit of a health hazard. It reminds you a bit of, like, the pufferfish, actually, the whole thing with the pufferfish, because anything that's going to involve a lot of live maggots, you got to get it, like, right? You got to do it properly. Otherwise, something is good. You could probably make someone very sick if you made the cheese or the cheese was prepared improperly, right? And whenever I think of stuff like that, I always think of that pufferfish that is sold in Japan, where if the person who prepares it does not slice the exact right part of the pufferfish, it can be, like, horribly toxic. Gross too, even if they're a delicacy in Louisiana. Yeah. I think it's, like, the only time I've ever tried a food of like that, you know, like eating bugs or whatever. I've never been interested in trying a lot of those gross out foods. I mostly only did it for that one, and even then, it was very much a one-time thing. It was a long time ago, too. And I would say I'm pretty adventurous as food goes, generally speaking. You know, I like to try stuff. But there are certain things where I'm just like, once it starts getting towards the idea where it almost feels like a health hazard, I'm sorry, like, I don't care if it's technically healthy. If it's theoretical... Oh, look! It's a gator in the sewer!
So the rumors are true. A giant gator in the sewers with a
Gatling gun.
You better believe it, bub.
That's hilarious. We've got New York alligator suitor for 5. All right. Whoa! Whoa! He's got backup! He's got backup! Oh man, this guy's tanky. Well, shoot. You eat lobster, don't start. You think arthropods are tasty. I mean, I also think that shrimp and crawfish are delicious, so, you know. Look, I grew up in Louisiana. I've had alligator, I've had lobster, I've had crawfish, I've had a bunch of stuff that most people probably never try in their life. Oh, shoot. I've had several different arthropods, I'll have you know. Lobster is probably the one I've actually had the least of. You know, growing up in Louisiana, it's kind of impossible to not eat shrimp and or crawfish unless you are allergic. Like, they're just like a meal you just will end up with at some point or another. Okay, well, wait, I thought I could throw that. Why is it freaking not letting me throw it? What happened to my throw button? Maybe I can't throw those? I can only, like, blow them up when he's near? Alright, wait for him to get near, and then we'll blow that up. There we go! Got it. Alright, acid gun him. Got it. Look at that damage over time. Beautiful. Bam. Alright, and acid gun him. There, we got some beautiful damage over time. Fantastic. I don't need bugs, sorry. Are arthropods... I don't think all arthropods are bugs, technically. Or at least they're not all insects. Miss Gertie? Who the hell... I do think it's funny, though, that they are making an actual, like... Oh, frick! Are there sharks? Since when do alligators work with sharks? Alright, got him. Whoop. Yes! He's gonna die from the acid damage now. Get wrecked. Yes! Got him. We have killed the alligator with the Gatling gun. Wait, is he still alive? Oh my god! They did the thing like that. What was it? Oh god, what was it? Wu Chong? Remember where it's like this guy is just asleep, but except they're giving him like the cartoon snooze move. I guess it's fair. Blowing up an alligator and setting acid on him doesn't kill him; it just puts him to bed. Wait. Oh my gods! I've learned helicopter. I have learned the power of Toon Force. I can perform helicopter. Helicopter, helicopter. How do I do it? Control in midair to spin. Oh my god. I can do the Toon thing. This is beautiful. I love it. I love it when you get Toon powers. You know, one day we're gonna get a One Piece game. It's gonna be like this. They're gonna let us go full Looney Tunes with Luffy. It's gonna be glorious. And I'm gonna be so happy. Like, I am still, to this day, amazed. There is not, like, a giant One Piece, like, action RPG. I know there are One Piece fighting games. Maybe there is a One Piece action RPG, because I feel like there has to be. I haven't heard anything about one, though, and I've heard about, like, One Piece fighting games before. But I've never heard of, like, a big One Piece, or action RPG or something. Where you get to, like, play as the Straw Hats, and maybe, like, choose your character for levels, or play as certain characters. It would just be so cool. Like, imagine playing as Luffy, and you just have freaking, like, cartoon powers, you know? It'd also be interesting, because certain attacks, like, just, like, certain damage types could even, like, not work on them, right? So, like, for example, Luffy has, oh, I've got to hover for that one, okay. So Luffy has, like, immunity to bullets, right? Blunt damage just does not really work on Luffy unless you're using Haki. But for people like Usopp or Chopper or Nani, that's not really a thing. But for people like Zoro, you might be able to say, oh, well, he can actually just, like, deflect bullets if he's, like, prepared with his parry move, or Sanji can, like, dodge them really well. And then you have, like, for example, Brook, who's just immune to anything that doesn't kill a skeleton. It can actually be really fun if you're playing where you have to, like, select which character you're using for certain things. You know? Like, maybe you play as certain characters in specific missions, but in other missions, maybe you get to choose between a group of characters as your main, like, controller. I don't know, it seems like it'd be fun, and it feels like One Piece is, like, just a great world. I would love to mechanically be able to jump around and throw my fists out like Luffy. It's one of those things that would probably have to be done very well, but if it was done well, oh, it would be fun. It would be so much fun. And people could learn the story of One Piece without having to watch 1,000 episodes worth of TV. So, like, win-win? What would you rather do? Play a 60-hour video game or watch 1,000 episodes of TV? I know most people's answer is going to be neither, but it might help get people into it a bit more. I do recommend, though, if anyone's ever interested in watching One Piece, just watch One Piece. It's so much better, and you will have a much greater appreciation for the story if you watch One Piece. It is free, you can find it online, and it is the better version. The only downside is that there is a huge chunk of it that is not currently dubbed. And I grew up with the English dub, and that is what I mostly watch. I have watched the sub, but if I'm getting like new ones for my Plex server, I'm going to want to do the dub, right? And there are just sections that have not been dubbed yet. Mostly like post time skip, so most of the early stuff is like still very good, which makes sense, right? We've had like a lot more time with that stuff, so the project has had more time to work on that, whereas the sub stuff seems to have been coming out after the project was started. You know, in contrast. Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of Plex, gods, where do I begin? Okay, so Plex is making some controversial moves. And they're not moves that affect me, but there are moves that have me worried. So let's get into this real quick. Oh, the water is just toxic. Okay. Damn. Sewers will just murder you. Gotcha. So Plex, so Plex used to be like $100. If you wanted a lifetime license for Plex, you could do it for like $100. There was also a subscription tier, and you got like I think a few other like minor perks that don't really matter to me from being a subscriber. The lifetime license though was, you know, you pay more and you get it. And the idea was basically you pay like 2 years worth of subscription costs, I think, because it used to be like $10 back in the day for the subscription. The idea is you pay like 2 years subscription and you get a lifetime. You pay it in advance, Plex gets the money, all good. And recently they increased it to $250. And I was like, I mean, you should probably buy it early if you want it, you know, buy it before the price increases. Plex does at least, like, let people know, hey, we're raising the price this much. We are giving you, like, multiple months. So they're doing a new price change, is why I'm talking about this. It's going to come out in July 1st. So if anybody's watching this after the fact, that is definitely something to keep an eye on. And it got increased to $250 originally. That was, like, a year or two ago, I think. No, I think it was longer. It might have been more than 2 years, actually. I think it was, like, right after I got my server. So I think it's only almost 3 years now. Maybe 4. But the idea is that they are increasing it again. And they basically doubled it to $250 when they originally did it. And we were all like, okay, so how much is it going to be now? $500? It's going to be $750 for the lifetime license. $750. That is a lot of money for something that technically gives you no content. Like, I get that Plex, and the worst part is I don't even think Plex is really doing that much. Yes, they are technically maintaining a metadata library. Okay, that's not nothing. But their metadata library is heavily supplemented by TVDB and IMDb. In fact, those are even secondary options in their program where you can just get just that. They do have some differences between those, but 99% of shows are basically those, just on the Plex site. But that isn't nothing, right? And they also do remote access, which is basically them doing the SSL and routing, and, you know, port forwarding for you. So they route your thing through their servers. Which is not even, I think it's literally just them, like, actually, I don't even think it's that. I think it's literally just them doing the SSL certificates, because they at one point at least advertise, like, heavy privacy stuff, or at least that they're not tracking what you're doing unless you opt into it. So I think that all they're really doing is verifying the SSL certificates through their app. And, like, our server is essentially pinging whenever another thing wants to connect to us. So they're acting as, like, an interceptor to verify connections. So, like, when you connect to my Plex server, you can do it through a Plex account, which means I don't have to, like, give you a specific IP you enter into the program, which is nice. And and I can send you invites and other people's invites. And Plex will handle making sure that you are an authorized user, making sure that you have a verified account, all that stuff. Plex will handle it. They also provide a program that does get regular updates. And the idea is, you know, if more people want servers, like they want to have a server because their friend has one or they want their own personal one, they buy a Plex plan. And they get more features from it and stuff like that. Some people do the monthly server, but it looks like a lot more people were doing the, you know, lifetime server because it just makes sense. Now, I do know that they have mentioned that they are getting subscribers, and I do know there are people who subscribe monthly to Plex, mostly because they're just not sure if they wanted a lifetime license, and there are people who don't have the Plex server operational all the time, or who don't necessarily want like all the features. So I think there is like a free tier, and they're only on it when they want hardware encoding. They'll like get it for a month or something. So there are people who have like a limited like monthly server. Most people who do it long term eventually decide to get a lifetime license, and they are making that lifetime license very expensive. $750 is a lot of money. One of the reasons I do Plex, and I think the reason a lot of people use Plex, is because it's very stable. And it is nice to have the SSL certificates and all the authorization pre-configured by them, because it means you can just load the Plex app. For example, and this, I'm going to get into this bit, like the other option for if you want to run your own media server, the big one that everyone else uses. There's stuff like MB, but MB's like a little bit different. It's weird. The main thing everyone uses though is Jellyfin. You know, right? I even run a Jellyfin server. I can't speak too much on a lot of the ID matching stuff, because Jellyfin does work with most of the Plex stuff. Like, most of the way you format your files will work, but the way you organize them causes weird issues to come up, so some of the metadata doesn't read quite right. I do have it set up in case Plex ever becomes intolerable. Like, if they ever make, like, dangerous moves, I can just say, you know what, we're moving to Jellyfin. However, one of the things that Plex does have really going for it is that they have a verified app that is easy to access and doesn't require extra stuff set up with port forwarding and a reverse proxy in order to activate it on your device. So you can just like get a pre-made server from like Synology. Well, don't get a Synology, but like you can get a Synology style server or something like that, and you can just set up. Oh, frick! God damn it! You can just set up, you know, a server fairly easily, in fact. And you can also just add the app to your TV, log in, and immediately have access to the Plex server linked to that account. It is a general ease of use. It has a much better ease of use than Jellyfin, I would say. It has a much better ease of use, especially for remote access. If you're trying to access it away from home, and you're trying to access it over the internet on devices that you do not control, like you're trying to let your family members who maybe aren't as tech literate have access to it, right? It is a lot easier. You can do stuff with Jellyfin. There are ways to do it. Tailscale is a very popular one. You don't need like a reverse proxy or anything for that. What you can do is essentially just tell Tailscale, hey, set it up, and then you just tell your family members, I would like for I just like download this app, and whenever you want to use Jellyfin, make sure you go into this app and turn it on, and then Jellyfin should work. But that is an extra step. I realize it's an extra step, and I realize that can be asking a lot for some people. Like, I find it a bit tedious to go in and use Tailscale. That's why I set up Cloudflare as my remote access thing using a tunnel. But because it just made things easier, even though I had to authenticate, and it made it so I could more easily share it with other people without having to hook them up to the Tailscale VPN, which you can only share with a certain number of people anyway. So that was generally easier for like wider use. And Plex makes a lot of stuff like that easy, because you don't need to even set up a Cloudflare tunnel, which doesn't work properly on all devices due to the fact that if you want it to be secure, you either have to have a remote authentication, or you have to essentially have them find the IP address of the device they're using, and tell all of them, like, oh yeah, everything at this IP address is fine. Which especially doesn't work because a lot of home addresses are dynamic, which means they change on the regular. And what that can do is it can make it very difficult to set up properly. Okay, so I think we want to... Oh my. Okay, there we go. Poof. Made it. So Plex, it makes things easier, right? It does. It makes things genuinely easier. But $750 is a lot of money. And one of the main, and I say this particularly because one of the main reasons people use Plex, one of the main reason it has gotten so many new users, is because people like the ease of use, and people like how secure and easy, and how non-tech literate friendly it is, right? Like, for the average person, all they need to do is install the Plex server app on their server, which is a very common app for their like server's app store too. Like they generally don't even have to mess with Docker containers. You don't have to do any port forwarding. It'll take care of that all for you. You just set it up, turn on remote access, make a Plex account, and you just drop files into folders. And everything after that is just file management, right? There can be issues, but most of them can be easily fixed by simply dropping the right files into the... Okay, I'm gonna go back and flip that lever actually, because I was holding off on it, but I think I am gonna go back and flip it. Let's do this. And I think that Plex might be like I get that they want to get more money per person, because if you're using a lifetime license, I get that. I still think 750 is an extreme change. And I don't think it's designed to get people to actually get enough money to sustain the lifetime license. Because lifetime licenses generally increase in price over time, especially as products with even a little bit of server overhead. It feels like this doubling of the... Like, not doubling. This is a tripling of the price. It feels like this tripling of the price was done not for the purpose of, like, making enough money to keep the servers up, but instead to make it so expensive that only the most hardcore people will get the lifetime license. Because if you're just starting out, right, 750 is a lot, and even with a $20 a month, I think $20 a month is for the lifetime for the Plex Pass or whatever their subscription is, right? Even with a $20 a month subscription fee, that's what, right? That's what, like 2.5 years now, or 3.5? Let's see, so $20 a month, 12, so that's 60, right? That's, no, what am I saying? It's 240. So this is essentially now, so it's gone from being like 2 years worth of subscription money to now the more expensive price, and it's like 3 years worth of subscription money. And with the new increased price, 3 years of subscription money is a lot of money. And you might just start using the subscription. And if you're, you know, already paying the subscription fee, I feel like 3 years is a lot easier for people to get caught in the trap of just paying for the subscription, right? Of just continuing to pay for the subscription and not forgetting about it. And I think that's what this is pushing towards. It would not surprise me at all if Plex is starting to wonder if they should stop offering their lifetime license. And I'm a little worried, because it might mean that they eventually, you know, decide, we don't want to support lifetime license users anymore. We've seen companies do that, right? So I am a little worried about that. Sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there about Plex. But it is something I've been very worried about lately. Oh my god, it's my wing. My wing is like blocking my face and I'm talking about server stuff. Let's talk about something more happy, because my worries on Plex are like very different than what I'm doing right now. Let me reset my wing and we can talk about something way more pleasant. Like the Backrooms movie! It's coming! I'm so excited for this. Like, I was not like a huge Backrooms fan. I think I've watched most of the videos, and I did enjoy the game theory episodes on it. But I've never been like a super big fan of it, you know, as like a YouTube franchise. However, the movie looks good. It looks very solid. Overall, I'm excited to see what they do, mostly because I'm just like really excited to watch YouTube projects blow up into like big box office hits. Well, maybe this won't be a big box office hit. There's a chance that it won't. I probably shouldn't be carrying my eggs before they hatch. But I think it has potential. I think the movie looks really solid. It looks very interesting. And one of the things I am kind of intrigued on, particularly, is the sort of unclear villain. Like, it's probably going to have something to do with the evil corporation or the morally gray corporation that is involved in, like, trying to monetize the Backrooms.
Listen, I don't know what made you change your mind.
But,
Wait.
The main reason I'm curious is because at first it looks like it's just like a guy getting lost in the back rooms. But then you have the whole scene where this psychologist comes after him after they go, he and his friends go on an expedition, right? She goes in, she finds the door in the trailer, or the part of the wall that she faces in. So like, unlike a lot of the other people in like the YouTube shorts, it doesn't look like the holes they fall in are the kind of one that immediately like vanish or that you lose. You know, those tiny little holes you have to poke you with your finger just the right way to escape or to enter. It's like a full door-sized hole, and it seems very stable. However, right at the end of the trailer that we have, the music gets really intense. He first talks about how beautiful it is, and the psychologist, the therapist lady, is now like running or like trying to like clamber her way through this very thin hallway, like quickly shuffle her way through this thin hallway, and she's covered in blood. And I'm curious, because in the original Backrooms, there's the corporation who are doing some shady stuff, but they're not really the villains. The villains is more like the overall destabilization of realities as more and more things get pulled into the Backrooms, and reality has more and more holes torn into it, right, where people are no-clipping. And there's also this bacteria monster.
Rethink everything I've learned.
It's like weird, like fungus bacteria monster that's killed a few people in some of the other ones. And I'm kind of intrigued to see. Yeah, you can go now. You can go now, bud. It's fine. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see where it goes. You know, what kind of movie it plays out. And they didn't show the bacteria monster at all, which is a lot of restraint to not even like show a glimpse of your movie monster, you know? Now, maybe it's not going to be a monster. Maybe they won't have the bacteria monster thing. It's entirely possible that they'll just have, like, people going crazy in the backrooms. Maybe it has some kind of mental effect on people in this one. There apparently is, like, deeper backrooms lore, where, like, there are people who have, like, there's, like, small communities of survivors and different levels. Sort of like an Infinite IKEA situation. I do know there are, like, because Backrooms is more than just the Kane Pixels videos, who's the creator who originally did, like, the YouTube videos that made it famous. There's like a deeper lore on some forums that I've never really read too much about. I've only heard like small details of, where like certain levels, the backrooms change drastically from the office hallways. Not that it doesn't change drastically in the original one, but you get my vibe. But yeah, no, so I'm pretty excited to see where the movie goes and what it's going to be doing. It is one of the movies I am most excited for this year. It is kind of funny, this year started out like really kind of depressing as movies go. There just wasn't that much I was interested in. Now we were like, oh, the Supergirl movie's coming out soon. That was from the good old Superman movie that was like really solid. I'll check that out. We got the ability to set people on fire with our gun. Haha. So yeah, I'm excited to see where the movies are going this year. I might start pulling back on like full-on reviews. Oh, this is a bad time to do it because, or for movies at least. Cause I kind of feel like I want to focus more on like books and video games as my reviews go. But then the Backrooms that's coming, I'm like, but I do want to talk about that. It's my curse. I feel like. Wait, the frick? Where did my car come from? What the hell is this? Wait, what? Why? Why is my car here? I'm so confused. I get this is cartoon logic, but the car just appearing on a raft in a sewer that seems to lead to nowhere. The hell? It's so weird. Ooh, we're gonna break this window. Yeah, secrets. Secrets, baby. Got him. Alright. Well, you know what they say. Hop in the car, click the button, and don't ask questions. It's just in the sewers. We just have to accept that as a fact of life now. The car has appeared in the sewers, and that's just how it is. Oh, man, oh, man.
30 cops. Didn't see that one on the bingo card.
I think the Backrooms also has some games. Maybe you can do both at the same time. Ooh, I didn't know they had games. I might try that. That might be interesting to talk about.
I got a bathroom. Menus turning fancier by the day. Might even get napkins.
Could be interesting. could be interesting to do both, actually. That might be a
How's
good idea.
that
It's a very
treating you,
solid
Gordy?
idea. I think that's great.
Oh, you know,
But
speeches,
yeah,
rallies.
I do want to talk about the occultist
It's tiring,
because I think I
important
can
and
make some
nonetheless.
points about like puzzle games there. You know,
I'm more interested in your
what makes like a
thoughts on the
solid
case.
puzzle? Because weirdly enough, I think the
Did you
occultist
learn
does have some
anything
pretty
about
good
those poor
puzzles
missing
as
shrews?
adventure games go.
I did for a change.
A lot of them are
They were
fun, and
taken
I think
down
the
into
lore is
sewers,
interesting, and the
ferried
overall
away by a
character
bunch of cheese
is
sluggers.
solid. I like playing as a supernatural guy who's not constantly going, "What the fuck is with this ghost?" It's like,
did
"Oh
you
yeah, a
find
ghost.
them?
I just need to know its name so I can
Returned
unbind
safely
it
to
from
their
this
homes,
place."
I take it?
And I'm like,
Truth be told,
I didn't know that was a thing.
I'm
Good thing you're the
hitting wall
occultist.
here. Gotta think this through. Double check my findings. Maybe poke around.
I also
on
like the
cases
fact that
until
he
something
is an occultist,
clicks.
plays into the
I
overarching
see.
story, right?
See,
Like at first you think his
Sure, you'll
spyglass
bounce
is like that's
back
really
in no
convenient.
time.
He has this like
Let me know
spyglass
when you have a
tooth,
stroke
glass
of
tooth thing that can
genius.
automatically see through
If I have a stroke,
paranormal
Cornelius,
bullshit.
I'm calling the doctor, not you.
But
yes.
but
Yeah,
it
see you
is
around,
interesting because the way it works is that it's actually an artifact from the occult group on the island, the cultists on the island, right? His dad got it from his dad's office or something, I think. I'll double check that. I think he got it on the island though, and already had it before he left. And because of that, it's actually specifically attuned to a lot of the crazy shit that's going on in the island itself. It does Lovecraftian horror too very well, where you're because one of the things a lot of Lovecraftian horror does kind of fail at is making the horror a bit too mysterious, I think. Right? Like you never see or hear anything. Because Lovecraft stories weren't like there is no monster, you never see the monster. People saw the monster plenty. Right? Like the Dunwich horror. It's like, yeah, they didn't see the monster until a brief moment at the very end where one guy went insane. But
Make sure to upgrade your
he
broomsticks,
did
Jack.
they did
More
they
bang
did,
for
you
your
know,
buck,
you
right?
fight the giant monster that was like wrecking houses and shit and eating people alive. So it's not like there wasn't a big monster fucking up a small town. There was. And I feel like some Lovecraftian horror kind of like they go a bit too all in on just like people going insane at the single look of the monster, which is honestly kind of something that happens fairly rarely. Most of the monsters don't have like a sanity destroying effect on people, right? It's usually the knowledge that they give you. Don't get me wrong, there are different options, like Wilbur's brother, who was a child of Azathoth, and Cthulhu. Those are the two big ones, right? But most of the time, it's the overall horror of like what they learn there, what they understand now about what has happened to them and to this place. And I think the occultist does that very well. Because while the main character doesn't go insane, he does learn a lot about his father. And his father, having come from a place like this and having grown up in this cult, having watched his friends be sacrificed for this occult ritual, it explains a lot of why he and his son would become supernatural detectives of sorts, right? It's a good motivation for them. And it loops back around into
was a
why
day
they're so
like
experienced with
any
this
other.
stuff. No, some people can handle knowledge better than others. Exactly. That's even a thing in the Lovecraft stories, right? Where some people are able to like, I think he specifically brings up the like scientifically minded and artistically minded things. Oh wow, we're getting the femme fatale. Okay, what is the point of the cheese stick in the fucking cigarette pipe? Like, I get the cheese stick in the mouth, okay? You're eating the cheese, you're like chewing on it. I've put a cheese stick in the corner of my mouth and kind of like slowly chewed on it and eaten it bite by bite without using my hands. I've actually done that before. But what is the point of having the freaking
Monsieur
stick?
Jacques?
The fuck? Okay, that lingered on her mouth for a long time for some reason.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Oh, she's a French mouse.
No, that's down the hall.
Bonjour. Tis
Tis
like
like-
hello, only en français.
Lady, I am too tired, too hungry, and way too sober for this. Why don't we cut to the chase?
Oh, you're no fun, Mr. Pepper.
It's the same joke. They only go
I
tone
have
joke.
a
Yeah.
job for you.
But the thing is, I think
don't
they were
need
doing a
any
pretty
more
good job of
headaches
at least
right
making
now,
it
so
make
if you
mostly
don't
sense. Like, cheese
Nonsense. You're
is
drowning in
the
debt,
vice
picking
of this
up small
world, right?
fries and petty
So, like,
cases.
cheese is like
What you
the
need is a
ultimate
big
drug
one.
slash
And this,
booze
Mr.
slash
Pepper,
whatever.
is
And
the
like the
big
cheese stick in the
one.
corner of your mouth or
Well,
drinking
go on,
like
then. What's
liquid
the deal?
cheese. I can
It's
vibe with
about
some
my
of that, for
friend.
example. Like, fondue
She's
is a thing, right?
Dead. They killed her, Jack.
Drinking milk is a
Murdered
thing.
her.
I could vibe with the
Sounds
bootlegging
like you
cheese. I just think
already
like it
know
doesn't
who
match
they
with
are,
that.
so
But
where do I
like there
fit in?
are illegal types of
Please,
cheese. Like
Mr.
maybe it makes
Pepper, it's a
sense.
figure of
But this one just
speech.
like
My
it's
friend,
commitment to the
Betty
joke, but
Roach,
without like context for
was
why
an
the joke makes
actress.
sense.
beautiful.
Because the cheese stick in the corner of the mouth
talented,
makes sense. It's a thing
a
I have actually
radiant
done
star
and that I've seen
destined
other
to
people
bask
do.
in the
I just have never
limelight
treated it like an actual
until
freaking
some
cigar, right?
vile hand snuffed out that shining star.
Okay.
Just like that. The curtains closed
Ooh,
on her
we've got
forever,
intrigue
Mr.
and
Pepper.
murder.
That's all very
Theatrical.
theatrical.
Okay.
Force of habit, I guess. I did a few movies.
This is a very
myself
classic
back in the
film
day.
noir, though. They are,
But that
they.
doesn't
I will
matter
say,
to
they
me
are doing a
anymore.
pretty good job of
Betty
parodying
does.
film noir
She
as
was
a
a close
genre.
friend. And
They've
the
captured the
whole
vibe
poisonous industry
and the
killed
tropes
her.
of the genre
Quite an
pretty well.
accusation, lady. Talk on the street is.
Then again,
this
film
was an
noir is one of
accident.
those genres that's
I
actually
told you it
generally
was
parodied
big.
fairly well.
The
I think.
biggest.
All they do is
So
like
please,
slightly exaggerate it
take
because
the
it's all
case, Mr.
it
Pepper.
comes from a time where it
Start
kind of
snooping
took
around the
itself
film
pretty
studios
seriously,
on
right?
Tinsel Avenue. You'll find answers there, I'm sure of it. And trust
And
me,
it's not that hard
I
to make a
paid
parody
good
of, but
for the
I
right
found that
intel.
most film noir
All right,
parodies
I'll
tend to
take
be
the
pretty
case,
fun.
But I don't come cheap, Mrs.
You
Or
suck
is
your
it
cheese to a
Ms.?
straw? No, that's the
Ms.
thing. I don't
McCarthy.
suck my cheese to a straw, but I have
McCarthy.
put a cheese
Thank
stick in
you,
the corner of
Mr.
my mouth
Pepper.
and slowly
I'll be
chewed on it
waiting.
using only my mouth and not using my hands at all. Like taking a bite with my tooth and then pulled it in with my lips and taking another bite. Like I've eaten a cheese stick essentially entirely using my mouth and not using my hands. So like when these guys do a cheese stick cigar or whatever, I'm going to find somebody who's doing a cheese stick. I know there's like an example of it somewhere, but we'll probably see somebody doing it. But whenever there's
Fancy
like
a
a
good
cheese
flick,
stick
Jack?
cigar, yes.
Depends.
But
Why
when,
do you
when you have the
ask?
cigar
I
pipe,
need
it
your
just
help
doesn't
with
make
a
sense,
little
right?
Showbiz matter. If
Because
you could take a
you
moment
could just
out
be
of your
eating
busy
the cheese,
schedule.
but like you're not even
all
eating it
ears.
if it's on the stick.
Few
Like why
days
do you
ago,
have
I
the
dropped
stick? Do
by
you like
Tinsel
hold
Avenue.
it up with the stick so
Did
you
some
don't have to touch
interviews
the
on a
cheese with your
family show
hands?
set.
Are you using it like a
See,
holder?
I was
Like those people who get the
expecting a reply
nacho
letter
chip
from a promising
grab
young screenwriter.
what is those
But
those little
so
nacho
far,
chip
nothing.
plastic grabbers
Not
for
even a
chips when
scrap
you're
of
playing
paper.
video games. Have you
Now
ever
I'm
seen one of those? They
starting to
go on
wonder
your
what happened
knuckles,
over there.
and while you're playing video games, you can like use them like
Theory and
chopsticks to grab a
cookery.
chip without being cheese
And
dust
what's
on
in
your
it for me?
on your
The joy of
hands.
giving.
That's kind of what it
My
reminds me of. And
eternal
I'm just like, that's a
gratitude.
bit ridiculous. I'm
Unfortunately,
sorry. It's a
gratitude
bit
won't cover my
ridiculous.
bets at the roach races, Wanda.
You're a cold.
I
cold
think the
mouse
original
friend.
joke of having a cheese
Just
stick
find
like
my
a cigar
screenwriter,
works pretty
or a
cool.
letter, a note,
I think
anything,
it's a
really.
decent joke. Like
Get
it's
your
not like the most
compensation.
inspired thing, but it's funny. But I think the fact that they committed to it so blindly there, without trying to like think through, oh yeah, they probably maybe don't have that. Like there's probably not a reason. I don't know. It just felt odd. Or at the very least, they could explain it. Like, maybe actually show her, like, taking a bite of it from the end of her stick. Like, she's actually like, using it, like, daintily. You know, it's not a straw, it's a holder or something. Oh, also, I heard something pretty funny recently online. One of the creators that I actually watched, because I've tried to stop watching just, like, generic shorts. But I do regularly check out shorts from people who I am subscribed to. Visual gags be like that sometimes, yeah. And I heard something, and the reason I'm bringing this up because I saw something about spiders here, for reference. There was something about spiders just around here just now, but... Alright, so that's Tinsel Avenue. We have a side quest, though. We have a different side quest over here. I do like that we're getting, like, different secondary missions. That's kind of cool. Oh, no, wait. This is just the PI office. Ah, we'll come back to it. Oh. Wait, what do I have here? Did I forget something over here? Shoot, I think I forgot to do something for the side quest. Yo, right. No, both the things are on Tinsel Avenue, right? Unless I'm missing something. Oh, yeah, back to Spires. So, I was watching a short from a creator I liked. I forget what the exact name is. I think it was Hamasama or whatever. But... He was essentially bringing up the point that as the text of fantasy, Lord of the Rings is part of the reason that the giant spider trope is such a prevalent thing in fantasy, right? Because of Sheloth. And it turns out, Sheloth is potentially a result of a particular spider. God damn it. Okay, we gotta restart the game again. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Well, I gotta restart this. One moment, please. Because it bugged out again. Okay, this bug is really annoying. I've run into this twice now, and I'm going to be bringing it up in my review. Because this is like locked my game. This is like soft locked my game twice. But no, so apparently Sheloth was based on an encounter with a particular spider that J.R. Tolkien had. Which inspired some fear of spiders. I'd have to bring up the actual thing and bring up some of like the secondary things you need to look into. But if it's correct, and I do want to do some more research before I just say it's correct, because I want to do some more look into it. But if it is right, then there might be an actual spider, like a spider that existed at some point in history, we can theoretically blame for like 90% of the giant spiders in media, as a result of the spider it caused to appear in Lord of the Rings. Just think about that. Imagine if there is literally an spider from which all arachnophobia draws. Time to dual wield them. Alright, we're gonna like not spam the escape button when we do this. Burns of Blue Betty. One of the mouse birds in Betty Lynch's extraordinary life. Maybe her talent brought on the hardships in the first place. Okay. And I'm going to be doing some research into it because I want to find out more information on this because it sounds like funny as hell. But it just like I just imagine one spider going, I know, I have seen through Loth or all the spider gods. Arachne has promised me that if I scare this one man, this one child, he will inspire, using his writing, the core of arachnophobia in fantasy. The central point from which all giant spiders shall grow and shall spread their legs. Don't get me wrong, I feel like giant spiders was probably always going to be a thing, but it is funny to think about it like that, right?
You're supposed to shoot movies, not visitors.
What the hell? I'm on a movie lot. Why am I immediately being shot at? Then again, I did just break into a movie lot. Maybe this is what they do to trespassers around here. Swamp Man. Oh, that's funny. Swamp Man, right? Because humans aren't real. So we're like a mythical creature to them or something. Funny. His blood runs colder than ice. Either that or it's just like Swamp Thing. Loop. Or the creature from the Black Lagoon. Imagine if you did that, but with, like, snakes. Exactly, right? Like, imagine if, because I was a bit scared of snakes. Because, and remember, I can actually trace most of my arachnophobia, most of my ophiophobia back to a particular video I watched that showed a massive amount of snakes hatching all at once in a gigantic, like, swarm. That kind of, like, really freaked me out. So if I can... I would be able to blame a specific group of serpents in that video for most of my fear too. Alright. So something is off in Hollywood, it looks like. Hey, we got a cool burning truck picture. Good picture to grab. Alright. Oh, door has to open from the other side. Okay. Ooh, maybe I can get up there. Ah, here we go. Oh, come on. I know I can do this. I know I can do that. Come on. But yeah, that is basically like if I did something similar with snakes. I guess it's just an invisible wall. It sucks that I can't get up there, because I would have liked it if the game let me actually do stuff like that, because I am being so creative, right? With my jumping. But no, you have to go, they exalt the way they desire. No sniper for you. Snipey, no snipey. I don't know, something about that though just makes me kind of laugh. Like, imagining a group of arachnophobia kids, and they pull up the picture of the spider that scarred J.R. Tolkien, and they're like, so we all hate this asshole, right? He is responsible for our terror and our pain. Because you know, once Lord of the Rings has done something, every piece of fantasy for the next 60 years is going to do it. That's just the way the world works, I'm sorry to say. Very unfortunate. Man, oh man. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. What else? Oh, the other thing, I have another game already lined up after this and Ninja Gaiden. Subnautica 2 is out, and I am so hyped for Subnautica 2. I am like beyond excited because I haven't gotten to play a Subnautica game on stream since I think Subnautica Below Zero, and apparently this is going to be like less of a spin-off thing with more of like the blank slate protagonist going on. I'm so excited. I haven't seen anything from the game. I have not watched anything from the game. I have not seen the trailers. I know that. Oh, look, it's the Looney Tunes. Oh god, I'm gonna take a picture of this. I love the fucking joke. Hey, we can probably figure out where the camera is supposed to be, based on this, right? So based on this, I think they were shooting from here. So the camera would have been like right here-ish, or right over here, right? You can actually probably figure out where they were shooting the shot from, based on the banner, which is kind of cool. But you know, I'm super hyped for Subnautica. Subnautica 1 was so much fun, and I'm glad the creators are going to get their, like, they actually won this one. In case you didn't hear about the whole thing that happened with Subnautica, apparently their company, the developers parent company that now owns them or whatever, promised them like a massive bonus if they finished Subnautica and on time and got enough enough sales in like the first few weeks or something. And midway through development, near the end actually, when it looked like they were actually going to hit their target numbers and their release date window, the company panicked because they didn't want to pay them that money. They wanted all the money for themselves. And so they decided to fire the people who made Subnautica, the creators, who were heading the project. And they sued them because, yeah, that's wrongful termination, I imagine. And also, they were suing them specifically to screw them out of a bonus they had promised in the contract when they bought, or when they hired them to make Subnautica 2. That's like super dickish. So they sued them, and believe it or not, they actually won. Which is a nice little moment of the good guys winning, which I'm very happy to say was like a good moment for the world as a whole. One of the Mouse World Herald's newspapers comes the infinite puddle scandal where the mayor promises fake leaky sewers turned out to be a plan to simply cover them in rags. I do like that they're playing both into like the skeezy political maneuvering and also this is a fucking Looney Tunes-ass game. Oh, it's great. Oh, shoot. I wasted a cheese. Wasted cheese there. But yeah, so I'm actually excited to do it because I want to play the game they made. I'm glad they got to do everything. Seen those new that new Mousetrap asset? Yeah, those elastic pants and stuff. No, you dope. The hitter masks are all creepy. Oh, that guy, creepy as hell. Like someplace too creepy even for him to spat back out. It's like someplace too creepy even for him to spat him back out. What? Still, I hear he's worth every dime. Crosses every contract. No slips. Crazy how well Mousetrap's doing, and all from one lousy expose. We should put our face on the statue. Yeah, call it the pencil pusher that can't quit. A hero we don't deserve. Why are we still writing? The meeting wrapped up around 10 minutes ago. When you start passing a note in a meeting, and you have so much more engagement with that than the meeting itself, that you're passing the note after everyone else has left the meeting. Okay. Oh, I can't get up on top of the sign. Damn. But yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. That they're, that they managed to, like, get their positions back. They're gonna get their bonus. And for what I've heard, I haven't, like, seen anything from the game, but I've heard people are saying it's good. It's more Subnautica, and it's Subnautica that we will like. I'm really excited, though, because Subnautica had, like, a solid... Subnautica 1 was really good. Subnautica Below Zero was okay. It had most of the things I liked about Subnautica. The more focused plot was kind of... it was fine. But it did have a bit more of annoying mechanics. The temperature mechanics were a little weird, I think. So, I am glad that we're going back to maybe this one. I wonder if they're going to refine the temperature mechanics, or if they're, like, just gone, period. Like, if that was just below 0. It will be interesting to see if they, like, refine anything. I have heard some people say they hoped it would refine on, like, above ground mechanics. And I don't know. When I heard that, I was like, why? Like, I get that Subnautica 1 was, like, really janky on land, don't get me wrong. Like, going above ground, which you did have to do at some points in the game, was super janky. The movement felt just so weird. And, like, a bit unpolished compared to how polished the rest of the game was. But it makes sense, right? Because Subnautica was all about the underwater movement. It had some of the best underwater gameplay of any game I have ever seen. Like, hands down. I don't think I have seen a better underwater exploration game than Subnautica. Period. Any discussion. Ow, 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 hot, hot, hot. Down. Hey. Get wrecked. Alright. Okay, got them all, I think. Right? Got all of them? The music hasn't stopped, so I don't think it's all of them. Oh no. Where are you? Where are you? Literally the name of the game. Right. So, like, when people say, we hope the above ground, we hope it's less janky, I'm like, on one hand, I get it, because it was probably the jankiest part of the game, but on the other, the game is literally based around the underwater motion. Like, that it should be the focus. I would love for them to expand more underwater mechanics, rather than spend time that could be spent on that, improving, like, the above ground stuff we only really use when we're walking around our base, right? I would much rather them flesh out, like, more methods of moving underwater, because we really had, like, we had the 3, right? We had the submarine, we had swimming, we had 4. We had the full-on submarine, which was, like, a giant vehicle, which was used for, like, long period exploration, you know, going far away from base, and basically operated as, like, a mobile base. It's a small mobile base. We had the small mini-sub, which was extremely useful, mobile, but didn't have a lot of storage. It was useful for, like, short-range exploration. It could even be attached into the submarine once you got enough upgrades. For a really, really excellent mobile exploration unit. And then we had swimming, our normal swimming, which is basic and used for, like, you know, pinpoint stuff. And then finally you had that kind of nice medium as in your early game travel, which was the little assistant thing. I forget what it's called. It's like a small little motor on an assistant unit that drags you around. I forget what the damn thing is called, though. But you basically held on to it, and it would pull you along faster.
This whole thing feels like a movie.
Are we just on a movie set? Are they trying to murder us for, like, real-life authenticity? You know, if this actually ends up turning out to be part of a movie contract, I'm just gonna be like, this is like method acting. I hope this isn't just like method acting, because I'm gonna be really upset. Because they're shooting live round. That's not method acting, I'm sorry. Oof. Gotcha. Bang. Again, I say this every time. I wish these things had a bigger thump. They need that big thump. Excuse me. The Tommy gun's still nice. Tommy gun's still nice. But yeah, so I'm super excited for Subnautica. It's going to be a blast to play through. I do wonder if they're going to go into more of like the alien world, or if we're going to go on a whole new ocean planet with like maybe a whole new plot. Because we've kind of learned a decent amount about the alien world between Subnautica 1 and Below Zero. You know, we know they were advanced alien species that died due to a unexpected plague, which they were in the process of curing, but couldn't quite cure before it killed them all. And they left behind an AI, you know, to manage some of the stuff. And because they were worried about the plague getting off planet, the planet was quarantined with a gigantic space laser that shoots down our ships, right? Like, that's pretty, I feel like that's pretty well established, and we don't really need to do more exploration of that particular civilization. But I would love to find a new ocean planet that we're maybe stranded on, or maybe we're like part of an exploration team going to a different part of the ocean. You know, like a different region of it. Maybe the alien species. Maybe there was like a different, you know, culture of the alien species. Maybe they solved the plague, but were trapped on the planet for whatever reason because of the space laser, and eventually like had their own issues. So maybe we could explore like an entire different society, maybe their own issues that are like different from the original thing. I think it could be cool. I definitely think there's more stuff you can do on the Subnautica planet, but I do think you probably want to go to a different part of the planet. I do think Below Zero had the right idea there, where like it went to an entirely different area on the world, rather than staying in the same general location. One of the things that Subnautica also is like kind of gotten me to think about too, at least it got me to think about a lot more back when I played more survival crafters. I don't play as many of those because they don't. I feel like they're not like the best games to stream all the time. One every once in a while is okay, but they require me to do a bit. I feel like they encourage me to do a bit of like exploring on my own time. So I might do like a Subnautica thing until I run into a story bit. So I might like Subnautica. I think too. I think I'm gonna stream a bit, and then I might stop when I get to like kind of like I'm exploring around, or I need to like grind up resources for this, and then be like, all right, we're gonna stop this for a week or two and go do something else for a bit. And then come back to it once I run into, like, story progression, essentially.
I've had breakfast that did
more damage. They're freaking recording my anguish. How dare they? I am an unwilling participant in this movie. I do not consent to my image being utilized in this picture. All our ships are quarantined on this planet. I guess we'll just stay here and build a civilization. Yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, the disease did spread, but who knows if like they were able to, how long they were able to survive or endure, right? Like other life clearly endured. Maybe they could even have like a group of the aliens that managed to build up a tolerance or resistance to it. Who knows? Regardless, I do think there's a lot of fun to be had there, and I think Subnautica is definitely a franchise that has like enough going for it in the survival crafting world. Because a lot of the problems survival crafters often run into is that they can be like, God, what's the best way to put this? It's sort of the problem a lot of MMOs have, and I like to describe it as the why don't we just play WoW? Why don't we just play WoW? Right? Like, if you're gonna play a survival crafter, why don't you play Minecraft or Terraria? Because if you want 2D survival crafter, you go Terraria, I feel like. And if you want 3D survival crafter, you go Minecraft. Actually, one of the interesting things I just realized is that Minecraft and Terraria might be two of the only franchises that are both two of the most successful franchises in the world that are also rip-offs. One of which is a rip-off of the other. Because the other day I was looking at the most, like, the highest grossing video games of all time. And apparently Terraria is in, like, I think either the top 10 or, like, the top 15. Alongside Minecraft. Think about that. Terraria is basically described as 2D Minecraft. And it's up there with the highest grossing games of all time. Alongside its original. It's kind of wild. And I think one of the reasons Subnautica did so well in a crowded genre like that, whereas a lot of them fade away, right? Like The Forest, all the other, like, vampire survival crafters, we have more magic stuff going on, blah, blah, blah. It's like, every time they try and do a survival crafter, even the ones that are good, right?
Yes.
Like, I think The Forest is a pretty good game.
Turning caffeine and panic attacks. Be free, little birds. Just don't come back.
The hell? Ooh. Oh, I set the writers free, I guess. They were making propaganda. They were being forced into animating. Oh wow, this is like commenting on like overworking animators. Funny. Personally, I think Subnautica stopped being a passion project mid-development of Below Zero. I agree. I feel like Below Zero was a bit weaker. I feel like it was a bit more generic. But I am hopeful that Subnautica 2 will not be as much that. I like Subnautica Below Zero for a lot of reasons. I think the cold mechanic was interesting. It just needs to be fleshed out more. The main issue I had with it was they had like the really cool thing with the worms, right? and they were so janky. Like, the ice worms were a really solid idea. I think the idea of having to traverse frozen areas and having to deal with not just the cold, but like the thin ice, and you also have to deal with these gigantic worms that detect sound, like the sandworms from Dune. It's like the sandworms from Dune, but on Ice World. I think that was cool. I think it was an interesting idea. It just didn't get fleshed out enough. It was janky and kind of felt a bit unfinished when it was released. And it's my hope that Subnautica 2 will not have that much of that problem. I have not played it. I don't even think I've seen the trailer for it yet. Handling themselves in face of criticism, I lost all optimism. Really? In what way? Oh, it's like the Scooby-Doo. Are we gonna have a Scooby-Doo door chase scene? If we have like a Scooby-Doo door chase scene, it'll be hilarious.
Hey, you there. The name Betty Lynch ring any bells?
Yeah, of course, but was that
gunfire just now?
Like
right outside.
Relax. They're just
I can understand. I can understand if they did
Now
stuff and
about
you're no
Betty.
longer like
Where do I
interested.
start
That's a
looking?
fair criticism. I don't remember a lot of like
not
how they responded to criticism, so I can't make a
After-
personal comment on like their reaction.
They cleared out
I
the
will
trailer
say they were
and
currently in
moved
the
her
right on
stuff.
this, where they
Kinda
were promised
disappeared.
like the bonus if they finished the game, and the company
I
tried to
know
screw
a
them out of it. I
gal who
think they
knew
are
Betty,
definitely in the
you
right
know,
to.
a pyrotechnist back from the Seekers of the Holy
If you want to
Grail.
kill, go play Sons
She's
of the
on
Forest.
set today, so maybe it's worth a shot.
See, I
A shot I
do.
don't have to dodge for a change.
It's weird, but I do think that is kind of a... Like, I do... Okay, look, this might be unpopular. I do think that's kind of a fair criticism. Subnautica wasn't really a combat game, right? Like, it very deliberately had very few combat-related elements. The most I think it had was being able to, like, stun things. You weren't really able to kill stuff in Subnautica. You could temporarily stun them, you know, like, temporarily disable monsters. Or you could run away and hide. But there weren't a ton of, like, weapons. Like, very deliberately, they baked it into, like, their first world, right? Where you're literally not allowed to 3D print guns. Because that's illegal. It's literally illegal in their world for them to 3D print guns.
I call it an all-inclusive adventure.
So I think saying, hey, if you want to kill things, go play a different survival crafter. I don't think that's, like, a terrible thing to say. It's not, like, it's not out of line. You could kill everything? How could you kill... Oh, with the knife? I guess you could technically, like, stab everything to death, but... could you realistically kill a Leviathan, or was it, like, a technical thing? Because, like, could you honestly kill a Leviathan? I didn't think you could kill Leviathans. Oof. It just took creativity. Well, see, that feels more like you were doing something that was technically allowed, but not like... not intended, if that makes sense. Also, if it was difficult, then it wasn't something you were, like, meant to try and do on the regular. It was something that you could maybe technically do with a lot of, like, finicky. But if you had to go out of your way and use, like, really obscure stuff to do it, it probably wasn't something they wanted to focus on. And I think I can say strongly that killing stuff was not a focus of Subnautica. It was not something the devs put a lot of time into. Yes, you could kill fish for food, but those were basic fish. And killing bigger stuff was like, you did it out of like sheer desperation because you couldn't avoid them, or you wanted to like cook them because you wanted to see how it tasted. It's very clear you were not supposed to fight the Leviathans. Like, fighting them is insane. They specifically have the grab attack where they, like, throw you around and try and devour you with the grab. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It has been a while since I played it, though. Oh, God. I remember making bases and stuff like that. Oh, one of the other things... Okay, so I was thinking about, like, Subnautica. Right. One of the other things Subnautica did kind of have interestingly, though, was the fixed map. Be able to most direct way to remove constant threat. I would argue directly removing a threat is a clear downgrade. Pixel player choice. I see that argument. On the other hand, I think they intended the Leviathans to be something the player was working around, and they do respawn. So it's not like you permanently get rid of them, I don't think. I'm nearly positive they respawn, too, because I'm pretty sure you can, like, find eggs and stuff and hatch them. So I'm nearly positive they had ways of respawning. Like, even if you killed them, they were gonna be there. Also, in the areas where you would most want to get rid of Leviathans, like around that one place that I remember, that was like a bunch of them, there were a lot of them there, right? Like, trying to kill all of those would be very tedious. Maybe you kill one in a particular area, but killing all of them and keeping them dead, that seems like a while. It does take away player choice. You are right about that. But if they intended for Leviathans to be a thing the player should be running away from, they don't respawn. Okay. Again, I didn't go around killing them, so I know a lot of stuff respawns, but I didn't know for sure if they did. I know you can find eggs of them, and I thought they did respawn, but maybe that's just me. This one heralds released the Wednesday Raids, a chilling bestseller penned by one of Bechaville's most distinguished novelists. Weaves through dark alleys, sinister kidnappings, uncovered materials. Man died on the toilet. Is this a movie prop, or is this actually just a random skeleton on the toilet? I can't tell. But no, like, if their intention was very clearly the Leviathans are these spooky, eldritch, like, gigantic sea Leviathans. The sea, sea Leviathans, yeah, in the name, that you're supposed to avoid at all costs. It really did. Whether or not they took away player choice, it is clear from the way the Leviathans are presented and the way that your options are specifically kind of roundabout and hard to use, that you were intended to not kill the Leviathans, it felt like. It takes a super long time. See, that's what I'm saying, though. It's clearly intention. Yeah. All game design takes away player choice by the very process of creation. Yeah. Now, you can argue whether that was a good thing for this game, like leaving the Leviathans intact. And I will say, there are some downsides to it. I think the upsides are that you get the spooky Leviathans being constant threats, and you get these dangerous areas where the player feels very tense being, right? Sort of like how the ship is very dangerous, full of radiation stuff, and the area around it kind of has like a lot of Leviathans. So even just getting to the ship is this like trial, and you should come prepared with all the stuff you need to be there. There is a very intense mood by not making the Leviathans killable, right? That they are these eldritch monsters that are to be avoided if at all possible. And I don't think removing that is inherently a bad thing. Now, the downsides of removing it, right, are that because if they make Leviathan unkillable, right, then there are certain areas where the Leviathans are plentiful that it's just not feasible to build a base, right? It's just not, you can't build a base there. There's a bunch of Leviathans and there's no way to kill them. And I think saying, oh, I wanted to build a base there, I hate that they made the Leviathans unkillable in this new one, blah, blah, blah. I think that's fair. Like, they have removed a bit of choice from you, and I can get being a little annoyed about it. But I also feel like it adds to the horror of the game. I still remember one of the first times when I was playing Subnautica, and I just heard this groaning sound. Games limit the player's choices of where they move by adding gravity. Yeah. And they can limit the player's choices of movement by adding invisible walls, or by adding obstacles into the areas, right? I think there are things like that. And by adding this, by making these things these monsters you should not even try to kill, right? When you hear this gigantic, like, moaning and groaning and calling like a whale, and then you see a ghost Leviathan swimming towards you, you freak out. You freak the fuck out, right? Like, I was always terrified whenever I saw a ghost Leviathan. I don't think I ever quite got to the point where I was okay. I would argue that having the choice of killing them adds to the immersion. Killing it is definitely not incentivized. If you're daring enough, it is a wonderful addition. It is, and it does kind of fall into that area of, like, bugs that, not bugs, but unintended portions of the game that were not part of the design, but do add to it for some people. And, like, the fact that it is so hard, you basically have to look up a guide to figure out how to do it, does mean that functionally they're still unkillable for the average player. I think that's fair to say. Okay, I can't shoot down those balloons. Helicopter, helicopter. Well, I can't use that hook, I don't think. Weird. Also, get another power-up around here. I get that you do want to have, like, the... You do think you...
Freaking topsy-turvy spinning world.
I do get the idea that you want to have
the,
potentially the option to
pyrotechnist?
do it if you are daring enough. I get that idea. I have gotten a bit annoyed when some things that used to be possible have been, like, removed because they didn't want you to do it that way. I'm trying to think of a good example. It's been a while since I've really played something like that, but let's see. What was
Get over
it?
here, buddy.
I mean, I got a little annoyed by the... This is a bit different because it's more about balancing for multiplayer. I got a bit annoyed at, like, weapon levels because I wanted, in the Dark Souls remaster, because I wanted, like, the true remaster experience, the true Dark Souls experience on, like, a new console. And now, like, there's all the weapon matchmaking stuff that doesn't quite fit as well. Plus, let's be real, this feature of being able to kill the local fauna has been in both OG and Below Zero. Yeah, but there were some things that were, like, harder and impossible to kill in Below Zero, right?
I
Like,
can't think straight right now.
I don't think you can kill... There are also mods for it. That is true. It is a game that is going to have a good modding community, and if you want to kill stuff, there's probably a mod for that. And there probably is a gun mod, too, that lets you print guns.
Yeah, but the pirate... Wait. What kind of
I do
meditation
think
does
it
that?
adds to Subnautica's world, though, that you do have the limitation of not being able to make lethal weapons. I think it is a fascinating bit of world building, and it says a lot about the world. Much like how at the end of Subnautica, when you do eventually get your rocket home, you get the bill for all the resources you've used. I can't remember. Does the amount of money you're charged does it actually alter based on resources? I don't know.
Grab the last golden idols.
Here,
Put 'em
Subnautica.
back on the pedestal. Boom. Easy.
Game.
Just roll, right?
End of game debt. Because one of the things I found funniest about Subnautica is when you get back to Earth and your computer gives you an automated bill for all the resources you expended on the company planet, right? I think that is hilarious. Yes, it does. It actually does. Oh, that's fantastic. See, that's excellent world building. Like, Subnautica makes you feel a bit like you're on, like, a utopia at first, right? Because the tech is very Star Trek-y with a replicator and everything. But, then, once you... Oh, so I have a grappling hook now. Once you actually, like, go about, getting home, you're like, oh, no, we're actually in a dystopia. Oh, no. We're in a dystopia. We're in a cyberpunk dystopia, actually. Where we have to pay the corporate bill because they owned the planet. God. Okay, does anybody else ever find, like, the idea, like, whenever you're talking about, like, Dead Space or Subnautica, you say the words, owned the planet. Does that just make any of you wince? Like, painfully wince, like it hurts you to hear? Because whenever I hear the words, they owned the planet, I just think, like, oh god, such, like, a worst case scenario for mankind. This is truly the darkest timeline. And I just, like, I start wanting to cry on the inside. Don't know. Maybe that's just me, but that is how I feel when I hear that.
Ah, crap.
Such places, the bay is more than 182.2 meters deep. More than? Why would they use such a... That for such a precise... Oh, aha, 100 fathoms. My hobby. Reverse engineering original units. Fantastic. Oh, trying to, like... Man, imagine if there was a Subnautica player who keeps track of everything they use. And then they go back to the save and they do, like, mine, like, a single piece of resource or make, like, a single item and they find out what everything is worth. That would be actually a really interesting idea, is to, like, play Subnautica, get to the end, get your bill, and then go back and, like, mine a resource, right? And then use all the resources you can still get a hold of, because I think some of them are a bit limited. But use all the resources you can get a hold of to, like, reverse engineer the company's prices and see how fair they are. Probably very unfair, let's be real. Bang. I also warn you, the EULA for Subnautica 2 is utterly deplorable. Oh, I didn't hear about this. What have they done? Do they own all the rights to all mods made in it, like Blizzard tried to do? Please tell me they didn't do the Blizzard thing, where they tried to own all the creator content. Because that was actually about as evil as you can get, in my opinion. That was like on the level of, we know that this is basically free marketing and publicity for our games, but we don't want someone else to make a good game using our engine and then port it to a different engine because we want to own everything our fans make. Blizzard, I will say, Blizzard is like the top of like evil terms and conditions for me. I don't think anyone has topped them personally. When it comes to creative works, at least. I think that Blizzard has actually been the most evil for me personally. Maybe that's because I was personally connected to the Blizzard games, but that is how I felt about it. No. Please, Dawnseeker, please inform me what they have done, what evil they have unleashed. Also, if that is the case, I'm also still probably not blaming the developers for that. They have clearly started working for a shitty company, and they clearly don't like that company very much either. Game at their own discretion. Oh, bullshit. They're preempting this because of the... They're doing... I have a feeling they're doing this because of the Stop Killing Games movement, and they want to lock in some extra stuff. Although, to be fair, they're also not the only one who's done stuff like that.
No,
there are plenty of terms and conditions that say that. Sony has done that for years. I mean, they very famously, right? Any of the Discovery stuff you bought in the PlayStation Store is just gone, right? It's just gone. Because you didn't own it. They can revoke your access to it at any time. So Sony's done it. Nintendo's done it. Most DLAs have a clause like that. It's industry standard, and the industry is bad.
Did you notice anything off about her before she died? Maybe acting strange. Meeting
like, don't get me wrong, the industry is shit. Like, that is very bad. I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm just also saying it's not unique. Like, it's on all the games. So if you're gonna get mad at Subnautica for doing that, you get mad at, like, every game for doing that. Every game that's not on GOG is doing that. It is actually pretty easy. You can literally just find out if a game is like that by checking GOG. Because if they don't have a clause like that, or they don't plan to do shit like that, it'll probably be DRM free on GOG. You would be wrong there, Ramble, to file the sound engineer or OG Subnautica for a lukewarm take. Oh no, they fired the sound. They fired the sound engineer.
Oh,
that's actually a crime. That's
medieval set.
that. Oh no.
So, you need any explosions? Dynamite?
Yeah, I need some extra. I might need some extra dynamite. I could use some extra dynamite.
Tick, tick, boom.
I could use some extra dynamite. Yeah, sure. Why not? That's a bad one because the sounded, as I said, hearing that creepy moan of that the ghost, the Phantom Leviathan, was one of my most iconic moments. And the person who was responsible for that bone-chilling sound is no longer working on it. This was back in Zero too. See, I didn't hear about this in Zero because I wasn't wrapped up in a lot of like the controversy for that one. I mostly just took that as a game. I wasn't like paying attention to a lot of the controversy with it. It was a different time for me. I am a bit disappointed that sound engineer is not going to be there. Maybe that's why Subnautica Zero has like a bit of a weaker feel for me. That might be part of it. Because that's the sound design in Subnautica OG was fantastic. It was one of the like I wasn't even like a big on like video game sound back then, you know. Like if a game had a good soundtrack, I might note, oh yeah, it has some killer music, but it wasn't something I pay a ton of attention to. I pay a bit more attention to it now because I've had some like weird things happen. You know, like I've talked about this game and how I like the bass. Assuming it is political, I've been out of the drama sphere for a while. That's fair. But no, I will say it is a shame they're not going to have the same sound composer, same sound engineer, because he clearly did a very good job on the first one. Still, I do still think they had a right to sue the company over trying to cheat them out of like the money they promised them for the game. Like no matter what they've done at this point, like they were still in the right to say, hey, this company trying to screw us out of the bonus they said they were going to give us, and we made a good game for them. We made a good game. We're about to hit our sales target. They're going to cheat us out of our bonuses. I'm still going to side with them for that because that's obviously like, you know, even if you don't agree with those devs, you don't want it to happen to other devs you do like. It's one of those things, right, where like even if you don't like a person, you still gotta apply the rules to them. Still gotta make sure you're applying the rules evenly, because otherwise shitty stuff can happen. Because if you let shitty stuff happen to people you don't like, then it can happen to people you do like too.
To grate some parm, watch the cheese melt,
Oof.
and hear the joyful squeaks of my dinner guests.
Hear the joyful squeaks of my dinner guests? What? Get wrecked. Ooh. All right. Oof. Got him. I think here's the thing, simply that comment they were fired for was one they made 2 years in the past. And no one took issue with them. Suddenly, the devs cut them loose. Yeah, that's not cool. I don't think if the comment was already there. Then again, okay. So one of the weird things is I also think that like people are a bit overblown. But 2 years ago is fairly recent. I don't know. I don't have the context to make a call on this. I would want to hear the full context on it before I understood. Because while I am generally against people being called out for stuff they said ages ago, 2 years is also not that long ago. It might have been a comment they made like right around the time they were being hired or being scoped out for a game, since games take a while to make. And if they objected to that, like that is kind of like a right companies have, as much as some people take issue with it. I don't know, it depends. Because, I want to see what the comment was made, when it was made, and if they had already been like hired, or if they were being hired around the comment was made, it was something they missed. And even then, it does feel like it was more of like, you didn't pick that up, why fire them in the middle of a project or something that happened ages ago. And also like what the comment is, for as much as it sucks, you know, what the comment is can actually affect that to a degree. That's what they post publicly, where they work to work with privately. Yeah. Again, I don't want to weigh on it, because I don't know what the comment was, I don't know what the circumstances around the comment were, and I don't know, like, how relevant or recent it was to the hiring, or if it was just, like, an additional thing, right? If they specifically went looking for stuff they did in the past because they were already having issues with them maybe in development. Like, I don't know, and I would feel uncomfortable weighing in on that without knowing the full details. Because I do think context in situations like that is key, right?
You ever think about a career change? You wear that piece like it's made for you.
Oh look, it's Robin Hood. Or an actor playing Robin Hood, I suppose. Ah, yes. Because, like, I also think that James Gunn... It also depends on who you are, right? Like, as much as that sucks, it does... There are... So, when it comes to weird posts, it can depend on context, and part of that is who you are. So, like, for example, one of the infamous ones that makes... Like, that's one of the reasons I tend to be a bit more, like, we need to, like, see what they said and what the context was, is the James Gunn thing with Disney. Where he was a comedian who had done slightly edgy comedy, where he, you know, said things for shock value, in the context of him being an edgy comedian online, right? Like, that wasn't, like, just a random person posting these things. It's a person who done shock comedy, to an extent, saying shocking things. I forget what the exact post he got in trouble for was. But, or if it was, like, a group of posts. But I do remember Disney kind of just, like, fired James Gunn for that. Because they found some, like, just some posts some people got upset about. It was later revealed that there was, like, some stuff involving a group of people who made a bigger fuss out of it than maybe it actually was. I don't know all the details on that. I do know they fired him for things he did a long time ago, like years and years, not just like 2 years, but like multiple years, way before he worked for them. And it was, you know, it was eventually realized that, yeah, that was kind of bad, and Disney eventually brought him back. Like, Disney even admitted in the end that they overreacted. And that decision, like, that whole thing with James Gunn is why I'm a bit more, not like looser when it comes to stuff like that, but more like we need to look at the context and actually, like, understand if this is warranted.
Nothing new for a trench head.
one of the downsides of the internet, and one of the problems I personally have with the internet, even taking out all the AI stuff that's happening recently, all the death of the internet or whatever, is the way that stuff just comes back to haunt you forever. I'm not the same edgy teenager I was when I was in high school, and I'm very glad that as a high schooler I didn't post that much. Families are on board. We're launching Mousetrap Inc. in a few weeks. Everyone's lined up for Phase 2. Oh, we got like a multi-phase plan going on. Plots and schemes, I see. But yeah, I think
this
that
must be the place.
there should be sort of like a time frame for these kind of things. Now, if they're still acting the same way, it can be used as evidence that they're still, you know, still a jacket, that they're still making posts just like less frequently. Or they're still making comments, but they're just not posting about it because they don't want to get fired. Like, I get that. But, oof. Oh. This was anti-COVID shit. Oh. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm sorry. Posting, like, COVID is just as bad as the flu. We're all fine, basically. It's not a big deal during COVID. That's a bit different than... Okay, that's a little bit different than, like, a normal comment. That's, like, reckless endangerment. That's, like, actually spreading false information that could get people sick. I think it's fair to treat that a bit strongly, especially during that time period. Yeah. Yeah, I maybe I don't agree with them being, like, immediately fired. I'm not sure. If he had more than one post about that, probably, yeah. But, like, yeah, that goes a bit further than just, oh, I had some hot takes, you know? That's a bit controversial. I can see why they might have fired him over that.
Now that's a
Big
clue.
party mouse
A big
meeting.
mouse party meeting, and standing right next to Betty, the mayoral candidate.
That wasn't the
No
tweet he
foot,
was
what's
fired
his
for.
name?
Wait,
High
what?
stakes games, high rolling
Wait, he wasn't
friends.
fired for that
But the higher
one?
you climb,
Which one
the
was
harder
it
you
then?
fall.
Holy shit. Oh. He wasn't fired for the COVID tweet. It does paint the picture of the man. It does. Yeah. However, and I hate to say this, if they weren't firing him for that, what were they firing him for? Because I would at least like the firing to be, like, justified, and if you have a post that is clearly justified, use that. You know? Like, don't use the minor-ish thing when you have a major thing. Like, why use the battery charge when you have him for murder with a gun? Not that he was convicted of anything, but, like, you know, if you could paint a suspect for murder with a gun and you had the evidence for it, why would you do that aside from the battery? If you could, like, if you could definitively say I could prove it, right?
Pencil stench. Now it's time for a quick word with Vivian.
It does paint a bit of picture of him.
About that screen.
And to be fair,
Yes.
if back then I
No
think they
sign of
were
it,
still like a
just
private
a
company,
cheese
right?
smeared
So
letter.
it is
hope you didn't
within
go to
their
absurd
rights
lengths
to
to
do
get it.
it
No,
to
it
an
was a short
extent.
stroll.
Like,
Oh, well, thank you.
private companies are given
It might
much
not
more
seem like
leeway when
much,
it comes
but
to, like, their
means a lot
particular
to me.
worldviews
Tony,
or
why do
their
we always
particular
meet in these
beliefs.
seedy places?
Screw you,
Whether or not
Papa.
that
This is
should
a
be allowed,
well-respected
I'm not going to
establishment.
comment on, but it
yeah,
does.
yeah,
It is a
real
thing.
high class. So,
Well, my dear boy, you've got to understand, I'm a public figure. Always in the spotlight, right?
that you are.
So, friends are friends, but
Oh,
business
wow.
is business.
Yeah, that does paint a picture.
So what you're really saying is you're
anyway.
ashamed of being friends with a bottom shelf private dick.
Well, I
Cornelius, come
quite
on,
like
bud.
that.
You really going to be like
Like you
this? I thought
just
we were
did.
friends.
Oh, come on.
Thought we were friends.
You know how these things work.
Cornelius,
What,
come on.
keeps the wheels turning.
Come on, bud.
Sure, money, but it should be backbone.
Cornelius, you're supposed to be the good mayor. Come on, don't be
Keep
like
it
that,
up,
man.
sport.
Don't be like that. We got the more
Hey,
flexible
Jack.
characters. Cornelius is a dick. Anyway, I think it's a good place to stop. My company prohibits me from being political because the clients we work with. Yeah. Right. And as someone who works for like a state government, I have certain restrictions on what I'm allowed to talk about relative to what information I'm allowed to give out because I work with HIPAA protected information. Because I work with security stuff, there are certain security details I'm not allowed to give out, and there are various things I'm not supposed to do, like as a, as someone who technically works for public good, I'm not supposed to like pay whatever like the bribes and stuff like that. Like, we're not allowed to directly receive gifts as a result of our work or whatever. We're not allowed to like favor people, do nepotism stuff like favoring people or recommending people that we know over more financially viable or reasonable alternatives. And we should like recuse ourselves from decisions involving those. Anyway, I do think this is a pretty good stop. Can't wait until I retire. Yeah. Fortunately, I don't really work in like a super sensitive area. Most of it is just don't talk about the security we have around the server and don't give out social security numbers you might see in the files, and don't copy those files onto other fucking devices, you morons. So most of my stuff is pretty basic. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good stopping point. We just went to Hollywood, killed some mice, and we also killed a sewer gator. Nice and nice. I will see you guys next time, and we will continue our trip down the Pain Torrent, the Pain Tunnel that is Ninja Gaiden. I will have to kill those worms off screen. I'm not going to try. I'm going to hopefully have some time to kill those worms off screen, if I remember. Anyway, I will see you guys all next time. Bye.